every woman, child, and man. Philadelphia, come and take me home, where we sang our song of freedom so the world could sing along. Philadelphia, ring the bell of liberty. Come behold your city. Come behold your city. A nation born from sea to shining sea.
Isn't that wonderful? That's the way we like to start things off in Philadelphia, with a little celebration, some fireworks. And I'm so glad you all made it here. I know how difficult travel can be, and I was a bit worried that you might not get here. You're my kind of people. I knew you'd make it. You know, I was telling my friend George Washington about this wonderful meeting. He said, they didn't invite me. I said, well, you know, George, you're only a general. You're only president. I am a scientist. Yes, let's get our priorities straight in this world. It's so exciting to see so many of my fellow scientists here. And I think the world is a much better place because of all of my good friends throughout the years who've been involved in various parts of the scientific studies. And of course, it was very important to have good access to information and to have meetings of this type, to get together and exchange ideas. And the scientific community seemed to me to be the one community that didn't worry about political boundaries, but was willing to talk to fellow scientists, regardless of where they were in the world, and talk about great ideas and talk about the future. You know, we've had wonderful meetings here in Philadelphia, many great, great meetings here. I think perhaps the first was back in 1776. I was about 70 years old at that time, and we were here talking about freedom and independence, and about turning the world upside down. And I became involved in all the things that were happening. But it was 11 years later when we had our second great meeting. And at that meeting we talked about we the people, and how important it was for everyone to be involved in what was happening, to be involved in the future. If we could do that, we could change the world. I know many of you are familiar with some of the sayings that I have had over the years. And there's one saying in particular I wonder if you might be familiar with. It starts out, a penny saved. Have you heard that? A penny saved is? I see. If you said a penny saved is a penny earned, that's not what I said. I never said that. I said a penny saved is 2 pennies. Because, my friends, it is not the collecting of that penny that is important. It is what we do with that penny. It is not the gathering of all the information, but how we use that information as scientists to make this world a better place. to make changes, to help people. Oh, and that was the idea behind that penny saved, and it wasn't just money. It was everything we had. It was our talents, our energy, our ideas, our wisdom, and our intellect that needed to be shared, needed to be used, or it dissipated and was lost. And so now, my friends, I look out and I see all of you here in Philadelphia, people who have come from all over the world. And I corresponded with many scientists throughout the world. It was always a great pleasure to meet those individuals. And so I'm glad you've come to Philadelphia, because in the early days, Philadelphia became the cultural, the economic, the political center of America, a very great meeting place of good friends. And when I look out and I see all of you, I feel it is again America's grand historic meeting place of good friends. And I know you are in store for much excitement over the next few days here in Philadelphia. So I would like to invite you to share with me in a tradition. We have a tradition in Philadelphia of recognizing excellence. And we do that with a very special cheer. That cheer is properly executed by thrusting your arm into the air and shouting, "Huzzah!" avoiding knocking the person next to you in the head. Yes, it's spelled H-U-Z-Z-A-H. And one huzzah is for something good. 2 huzzahs is for something better. 3 huzzahs, my friends, is for excellence. For the excellence of what you do in your research, for the excellence of how you make that research work for a better world, for the excellence of this wonderful meeting that is taking place here. For my friends, this is the 3rd great meeting in Philadelphia's history. And so would you please join me in giving 3 hearty huzzahs for the 18th World Congress, and please give a hearty huzzah. Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah! And now, my friends, please welcome the President of the International Union of Soil Scientists, Don Sparks.
Thank you, Dr. Franklin, for your remarks and your kind introduction. You are truly one of America's greatest citizens. Governor Minner, Ambassador Quinn, distinguished guest, and fellow soil scientist. On behalf of the organizing committee and the International Union of Soil Sciences, I welcome you to the 18th World Congress of Soil Science. After a period of 46 years, we in America are delighted to host the Congress again in one of our greatest and most historic cities, Philadelphia. It is known as the cradle of democracy and served as the first U.S. Capitol from 1790 to 1800. The Declaration of Independence was adopted in Philadelphia 230 years ago last week, and the U.S. Constitution was written here. Today in Philadelphia, we are opening the 18th World Congress of Soil Science, 79 years after the first Congress of the then International Society of Soil Science, which was held in Washington, D.C. I am delighted to welcome more than 2,000 Congress participants from over 100 countries. The theme of the Congress is Frontiers in Soil Science, Technology, and the Information Age. During the week, you will have the opportunity to learn about cutting-edge research and the use of advanced technologies. There are also interesting professional and cultural tours and enjoyable social events that I encourage you to fully participate in. Many colleagues and friends have spent countless hours organizing this Congress, for which I am most grateful. In addition to IUSS, the Soil Science Society of America and the National Academy of Sciences are sponsoring organizations of the Congress. I thank them for their outstanding efforts and support. We also gratefully acknowledge numerous federal agencies, industries, and individuals for their generous monetary support of the Congress. At this time, I would like to recognize my colleagues who have played a major role in the organization and development of the Congress. Please hold your applause until they are introduced. Gary Peterson, Vice President of the International Union of Soil Sciences. Lee Sommers, Co-Chair of the Organizing Committee. Larry Wilding, Co-Chair of the Organizing Committee. And Lois Peterson, member of the World Congress Executive Committee. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Honorable Ruth Ann Minner, Governor of Delaware, the first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution and leader of my home state, to make welcoming remarks. Governor Minner has been a strong advocate of advanced technology development, land preservation, and environmental enhancement. Governor Minner.
Thank you, Don, and good morning, everyone. What a pleasure to be here. You know, we have often had the opportunity to work with the University of Delaware in many different ways, but this is a very special day to be involved with the soil science of the world. 18th annual, wonderful. You make the difference for me and for every other citizen of our world. I understand that many of you here in the audience, as well as those who joined me on the stage, good morning, are from a great distance, have traveled to be here, and we do say welcome. Over 100 countries, thank you for caring and for participating. It is important. As Governor of Delaware, I want to welcome you to the Mid-Atlantic region and to a rich bed of agriculture. Delaware's #1 product is agriculture, and we continue to thrive because of that. I'm pleased that the United States has the opportunity to host this program, and I the opportunity to say welcome to each one of you. This marks the first time the World Congress has been in the United States since 1960. Quite a long time, but we hope you come back more often than in the past. For those of you who are not familiar with Delaware, we boast a long history of agriculture, of preservation, of farmland and open space and forest land. In fact, I grew up on my family's farm near Milford, Delaware, and have learned over the years to be a very careful steward of the land. Delaware, though very small, I say we're the 49th largest state, is big in agriculture. And as I said, it is our #1 industry. As governor of an agri-state and a farm owner myself, I really appreciate all of the work you do and how you work to protect our natural resources. Soil sustains life. Good soil means good food for the people and all of the other necessities of life as well. As a state, we strive to protect and conserve our soil, some of the most abundant agriculture soil on the earth. And we do it in many ways. We support the Delaware Biotechnology Center and its cutting-edge research and the new technologies designed to help our farmers be more productive. My Livable Delaware proposal focuses on land preservation, and we do all that we can to save our soil. Today, Delaware leads the nation in the percentage of state farmland preserved, 65% of our land. We've secured permanent funding for farmland preservation, and we now have a forest land preservation program modeled after our nationally recognized farmland program. Our farmers have always been environmental stewards, working with the best available science to protect our soil and our water. It is, in fact, our lifeblood. Our nationally recognized nutrient management program is a testament to this. In the 1990s, advances in science made us aware of nutrient loading of our waterways, not just affected by nitrogen, but also by soil with excess phosphorus. Once again, the agriculture community, with the guidance of our Nutrient Management Commission, the University of Delaware, and the Delaware Agriculture Department, stepped forward to meet the challenge. Delaware's Nutrient Management Program represents a unique citizens' alliance of public policymakers, conservation advocates, and agriculture stakeholders. They have addressed the soil and water quality issues associated with nutrient loading head-on, and much progress has been made. We are being strongly supported in our efforts by Delaware's poultry industry, the linchpin of our agriculture economy. In 2001, Delmarva's poultry industry executives affirmed their commitment to improving Delaware's environment by signing a memorandum of understanding with the Delaware Nutrient Management Commission, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. They accepted their leadership role in promoting and facilitating improved poultry litter and manure management practices by poultry producers in Delaware, practices that would improve and sustain the quality of our soil and water. The poultry companies continue to sponsor and fund the Environmental Stewardship Program that gives an Environmental Stewardship Award to a farmer deemed to have made a significant contribution to the conservation of croplands and waterways by utilizing sound nutrient management practices. Because of everyone's commitment and hard work, significant progress has been made in Delaware in the reduction of phosphorus in both our levels of soils, our nutrient loading in waterways, and alternative uses of manure. Progress has been made in nutrient management planning, education, training, and certification of nutrient generators, nutrient handlers, and nutrient consultants. I want to highlight just some of the significant progress that was made in the last 5 years. There's been a 23% reduction of phosphorus in poultry litter. Delaware houses the only fertilizer plant on the East Coast that takes a waste stream of poultry manure and processes it into pelletized fertilizer products. As a state, we understand the importance of educating our young people about the value of our soil. In our Delaware schools, our state mandates that our students learn about the soil and its importance in the world. Ag in the classroom starts in the very young ages of our school students. Also, our high schools. Agriculture standards mandate that students, many of whom will be our future farmers, do detailed studies about soil and soil conservation. It's true that we're all concerned about the development of some of our most productive soils and the implication this has on our quality of life. While you are here, I encourage you to visit Delaware. It isn't so far away. See firsthand our open space, our corporate strength, and our many attractions, whether historical or cultural. And yes, the treasures of the beautiful beaches of Delaware. And I think that probably Governor Rendell will not like it when I say our tax-free shopping as well. Thank you again for being at this conference. We have an old saying as a farm family in Delaware that most of us say, God gave us this soil, but he isn't making any more. Thank you for protecting that most precious natural resource.
Thank you very much, Governor Minner, for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us. I'm now pleased to introduce Stephen Northcliff, Secretary General of the International Union of Soil Sciences, who has provided excellent leadership to IUSS for some remarks. Stephen?
Friends, colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to be here. It gives me great pleasure to bring you greetings from Reading, but I mean Reading, England, not Reading, Pennsylvania. On your behalf, I would like to thank my President, Don Sparks, and Governor Minner for the very warm welcome we've been given. For some of you, it will be your first World Congress. For at least one of you in the audience, I know it's actually your 14th. Whether it's your first or your 14th, I know you will enjoy the science we're going to participate in during the week. But equally importantly, I know you will enjoy the opportunity to meet with friends, fellow soil scientists, soil scientists from around the globe. In some cases, you'll be renewing old friendships, but I hope it will be an opportunity to establish new friendships. Friendships that you will sustain throughout the coming years. Because it's my belief that while soil science will flourish through its top quality science, its real success is through its friendships. And I look forward to enjoying these friendships during this week and renewing these friendships. I look forward to a World Congress of top quality science in an atmosphere of friendship and close harmony. I welcome you all. I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much, Stephen. I'm now pleased to introduce Dr. Kenneth M. Quinn, former U.S. Ambassador to the Kingdom of Cambodia and President of the World Food Prize Foundation, who will recognize a recipient of the 2006 World Food Prize. Ambassador Quinn.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sparks, Governor Minner, Dr. Sachs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's great to be in Philadelphia and in the greater Delaware co-prosperity area down there. And to be here to announce the recipients of the 2006 World Food Prize. But even though the World Food Prize has been in existence for 20 years, I sometimes get questions about, well, just exactly what is the World Food Prize? And I'm usually inclined to quote the former president of the Federal Republic of Germany, Dr. Johannes Rau, who said, the World Food Prize is the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. But given that this is an international audience and the events of yesterday, I'd probably be inclined today to say it's the World Cup of feeding the world. Now, the World Food Prize is a $250,000 prize and a beautiful sculpture, and it was founded by Dr. Norman Borlaug, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, the father of the Green Revolution, the man of whom it is said his initiatives and research have probably saved 1 billion lives. And it's been presented to laureates from around the world, from Bangladesh, China, Cuba, Denmark, India, Mexico, Sierra Leone, Switzerland, United Kingdom, the United States, the United Nations, and today we'll add another country to that list. And it's been given for exceptional breakthrough achievements in increasing the quality, the quantity, and availability of food in the world, and it's been given to a soil scientist before, and he's with us here today, and I want to introduce Dr. Pedro Sanchez, our 2002 World Food Prize laureate. Pedro, stand up. So glad that you and Cheryl could be here. And if you were at the last World Congress in Bangkok, you know that the announcement was made there of his winning it in a video shown about Pedro. So now this is 4 years later, and we're back here, and so there may be a pattern being established here. But our presentation of the World Food Prize will occur in October during our 20th anniversary celebration and symposium in Des Moines, Iowa, October 18th to 20th. And our celebration really has 3 parts. First, we have an international symposium, and we invite distinguished speakers from around the world. And Dr. Jeffrey Sachs was one of our speakers before, and you're in for a great treat if you haven't heard him speak. We had 600 people, and when he finished, they all leaped to their feet and applauded. One of the great moments of the World Food Prize. This year, our topic is the Green Revolution Redux. Can we replicate the single greatest period of food and agriculture production in all human history? And we again have speakers coming from around the world to take part in that. We also have a Global Youth Institute. We have all these experts in the room, like you all are here, and then we bring 100 high school students and 100 high school teachers, and we throw them in the room with all of you, and we let your research and your knowledge and your expertise and your charisma rub off on them to inspire them to follow you in their careers. And then we pick a dozen of them and we send them on Borlaug-Ruan internships. So we send a dozen high school students out to Ethiopia and Kenya and Mexico, Peru, Brazil, China, to work at international research centers. But the real centerpiece of our celebration occurs at the Iowa State Capitol building. Governor Minner, we got to Governor Vilsack in a weak moment, and he lets us come in and use the Capitol for a night for our celebration. And we have a wonderful event, and we culminate it with the presentation to our laureates. And some years we have 1 laureate, some years we have 2, as in 2004. But this year, the achievement is so large and so significant that the first time ever, we're going to honor 3 laureates, 3 individuals, 2 of whom are soil scientists. And so I'm pleased to announce to you today that the 2006 World Food Prize laureates are Alison Polinelli and Edson Lobato of Brazil, and Colin McClung of the United States. And they are going to be recognized for their pioneering work over 50 years in soil science and policy implementation that opened the vast Cerrado region of Brazil to agricultural and food production. Dr. Borlaug has referred to it as one of the great achievements of agricultural science in the 20th century. Now, Dr. McClung was doing his work in the middle 1950s. And I know the theme this year of your Congress is Frontiers in Soil Science. Well, he was on the frontier of soil science in the Cerrado in 1955, this huge, vast area that no one thought could ever be productive. But with that intrigue and sense of of study, he went out and he found ways with lime and fertilizer to treat the soil, and he made sections of it productive in a way it never had been before. And that was the start. In the 1970s, Alison Paulinelli, Minister of Agriculture of the state of Minas Gerais and later of Brazil, brought the government policies and research funds, and he started Embrapa and encouraged farmers to come and continue that work. And in the 1980s and the 1990s, Edson Lobato came back to Embrapa and became the lead research scientist and carried out those studies, like the studies that many and most of you do, that allowed production and yields to go up more and more crops to be introduced. And if you're to put in one sentence, one statistic, what they accomplished over this 50 years, that when Dr. McClung began his work, there were about 200,000 hectares marginal production in the Cerrado. And in 2005, it had risen to 40 million. So Brazil may not have won the World Cup in soccer or football, but Brazil did win the World Cup in feeding the world in receiving the World Food Prize this year. Now I want to conclude by asking you to do three things, if you would. One, I hope you'd go to our website. We revised it and updated it for the 20th anniversary, www.worldfoodprize.org. And you can learn more about us and about our laureates. And while you're there, the second thing I'd like to ask is please look at the nomination materials and nominate someone for the prize. And we particularly need women to be nominated. Here's Dr. Evangelina Villegas, one of two women World Food Prize laureates, but we need more nominations, and we need nominations of scientists from around the world. And third, while you're at our website, please register online and plan to join us in Des Moines. Come to be there for a great celebration of soil science, because we will have what we believe will be one of the most significant observances of World Food Day anywhere around the globe. We'll have representatives of 64 countries there. We'll have more life-saving achievement gathered than at any other World Food Day celebration anywhere around the globe. And of course, we'll have the presentation of the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. And I'm so pleased that one of those three individuals could be here with us today, one who will be there in that capital receiving that prize. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Colin McClung. And Sparks, thanks for having us here today. It's been a great honor to be here and to announce our laureates.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Quinn, and congratulations, Dr. McClung, on this magnificent and well-deserved honor. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Michael Clegg, the Foreign Secretary of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences. Dr. Clegg has been a strong supporter of IUSS and was a speaker at our inter-Congress meeting in 2004. Dr. Clegg?
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here and to be able to welcome you to this Congress on behalf of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences. I'd like to just say a few words about the importance of international science. This is a particularly propitious audience to make these comments to. One of the great things about science is it gives us a window into the future, although sometimes an imperfect window. One of the things that we can say about the future is that we'll be adding somewhere between 2 and 2.5 billion more people to the globe over the next 40 to 50 years, and that will have many impacts. Some of the impacts